Hungry Lion was searching far and wide for solutions that's more appropriate than anything else out there in the market.
And from our side, we said we have that technology that will take you into next phase of growth, but also thereafter.
Two factors that stood out really good with Metacom, especially their understanding of the African landscape, which is sometimes difficult to find in South Africa. They understood almost completing each other's sentences, understanding the problems that people have in this space. Their technical ability definitely shone out, understanding what we want from a quality of service, from a rules point of view, also holding security quite high.
We started engaging with Metacom around the full solution as well as the Hungry Lion team. Hungry Lion was wowed by the capability, especially because of the collaboration between the two companies, and we were able to successfully test the POC, successfully implement or solve the challenges that Hungry Lion was facing, and thereafter roll out the solution.
What caught our attention a lot with what Metacom brought to the table was the extent to which they could actually improve that connectivity profile of a store from where it was to where it is today.
What sets it apart from everybody else is that we don't necessarily have to deal with a reseller or a third-party provider where you kind of dictated to what they put out for you to use. We have that relationship whereby we can almost help drive.
The first challenge, I would say, was liaising with their contractors, and we would need to liaise with them exactly the same what we do with our installation team. We had to start building a relationship with out-of-country people that we've never spoken to, never worked with at all.
It's fair to say that what they had in place at the start wasn't a comprehensive solution from a provider that delivers a complete managed service around all these services. That's where Metacom really made a big difference to them, where we could provide connectivity with seamless failover, where they could effectively test very quickly.
If we look at the Metacom capability, our tech is what enables us to deliver the services. The core values in our business is people. So people is the most important thing, but we've got an underlying tech that creates the capability of sustainability. We've had a funny experience where one of the branches actually burned down, and one of the things that stayed behind was the router, and it still operated afterwards. So the tech is important for us to be able to deliver the service, and I think that's where the magic lies in.
Hungry Lion was ADSL modems when I first joined, dialing up from each store. We then put down a VPN at that point, which was a choice between MPLS and VPN. We went the VPN route. From that, it evolved into the first iteration of SD-WAN. When we started engaging with Metacom, it was when Hungry Lion came to that natural evolution that connectivity needed to move above that level effectively.
They had very specific needs and requirements around absolute reliability and always on connectivity, but at the same time to have complete visibility on it, to be able to tell what exactly is happening on the site. And they didn't want 110 providers in their environment. They wanted to deal with someone who could bring the full picture to them, give them complete visibility on what they're doing, have technology that reliably allows them to trade in an always-on environment.
It brings great flexibility to the support teams to be able to keep their hand on the pulse and make sure, how do we measure these stores in terms of SLA? Are they performing? Are they not performing? MetaWin provides that overlay that sits on top of the connectivity.
So the solution components were made up of two distinct feature sets, if you want to call it, or capabilities rather. There's the underlay and the overlay. Seacom was key in bringing the underlay component to the Hungry Lion environments, and Metacom with the overlay components. So what you find is that we had to work collaboratively to make sure that we can deliver on both, because the solution cannot work independently. Even though they were delivered by different entities, we had to make sure that we align in terms of our project rollout.
Making their customer radically successful, Metacom has undoubtedly did exactly that.
Basically ensuring that they can always transact, that they're always on, that they have full visibility of what's happening in their base.
Specifically take into account that we had put them under pressure for the very first deliverable. Our project was delivered on time and within budget.
The only way that we can achieve it is to do better planning, do more forecasting, look at historic information, look at rates at which we order things, the turnaround time, the lead times for you to manufacture. Everything is kind of controlled internally. They can literally supply on demand and at scale. Build a whole store in a box depending on how your pipeline goes.
If you look at the way the solution was defined, it was Metacom bringing in the SD-WAN element of it and Seacom bringing the connectivity portion of it. The three-way collaboration ensured that at the end of the day, Hungry Lion gets exactly what they requested and more.
Our strengths in RN managed services or managed network services. We have a really large ecosystem of providers that we tapped into, for the specific markets that we were rolling out in, throughout this project.
One of the key strengths that we leveraged is that partner ecosystem, because in certain instances you would find that connectivity is not ubiquitous. So we had to work with providers to make sure that we can deliver on that connectivity promise that Seacom speaks about. And we leveraged those partnerships to make sure that we were able to use a partner to deliver on the promise that we made to Hungry Lion from a connectivity perspective.
Our structure was built to have a whole support layer engaged with our customers at all times.
We found that Metacom has really stepped up to the plate whenever we've called on them. They brought in the guys, they brought in the team, they set them up here at head office until the issue was resolved.
A big part of Metacom's secret is beyond the handshake. It is about the relationship that gets built. It's about walking that journey with your customer, making them successful after you've already signed the contract.
You don't just go to a client and implement a solution and say, hey, you're up and running, goodbye. You have daily check-ins, weekly check-ins. You almost built a friendship with the client.
The deal is one thing, and there's some really exciting stuff, as we've mentioned, in the project side, and being able to deliver quickly into having a product that is great. But the service that you deliver to the customer on an ongoing state is what makes us good.
You need the good tech, but you also need the people behind that to make that relationship work.